Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast.
San Juan Regional Medical Center is your community hospital, committed to making life better for the communities we are privileged to serve. In fact, better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care. What matters most to our patients matters most to us, offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services so you can get the quality care you need right here at home. San Juan Regional Medical Center, celebrating life better here since 1910.
3 days of wonder as hot air balloons from across the nation fly over our Farmington skies the mornings of September 23rd through the 25th and light up the nights in the midst of vendors and live entertainment. Friday night, they'll be at San Juan College, followed by Patrick and the Las Vegas Band on stage at the Henderson Performing Arts Center. Saturday night, they'll be at Justice Park Ballfields, followed by the Guess Who live at Ricketts Park. All balloon events are free. Find info and concert tickets at fourcornersballoonrally.com.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Cullip, along here with Scott Micklin.
Good morning, Megan Cullip.
Good morning.
Happy Friday to you.
Yes.
Another week.
Another week. You know,
Here
that's
we
the
are.
sad thing. I love Friday.
Yes.
But I'm not quite sure about how I feel about another week passing.
Ah.
Life is so short.
That's true.
It's like I want to hang on to my weeks.
I understand.
Yeah.
And you get to see me on Fridays.
There's
a reason for celebration,
there is a
right?
reason
Or
for
something.
celebration. It kicks the Friday off on the right foot.
Okay. Or wrong foot, depending on how the show goes.
Depending on
We'll
how the
see.
show goes.
See how it
Depending on
goes.
how we are.
That's
Yeah.
right. Exactly. We weren't together last week. That's the other thing, right?
I know,
so
you
we're playing
were
catch up. I
rehearsing.
had another. Yeah, I did. I
Yeah,
had
you were in the spotlight yet again.
commitment.
Well, are you going to talk about
No.
it?
Well, it's
Why
sold
not?
out. So if you didn't get a ticket, you're out of luck.
That's
I'm
even
sorry.
more reason you should shout it out.
Right. Tomorrow
Sold out
I will
show.
be standing in the cemetery for Dining with the Dead, which sounds really exciting.
Sounds like you had to rehearse for that.
Yeah, we did. It was fun. It was a good time. So we were rehearsal last Friday, which is why I couldn't do the show. Had to run a best of, and we had rehearsed in front of fifth graders from McKinley Elementary School, which is just by the cemetery. They walked over. It was really fun to see them. And then we had students from Aztec Mosaic Academy were there, so that was kind of cool too.
And isn't there some story about you and a beard? And
That was a great story. You think I should share that story on the radio?
that's why I'm mentioning it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you. Well, I'm sorry we didn't have a photo. I would have showed a photo of myself made up as William Markley, who lived from 1842 to 1887, and he had a full beard, mustache, the whole thing. So I've got it glued on, facial hair and everything. And so one of the kids, precocious kid, young gentleman, was watching my presentation, and he was asking questions, at the end, and he had one more question for me, and he wanted to know what my beard was made of.
And you said...
Typical question, right? And I just looked at him with like the most dead-in-the-eye look I could come up with, and I said, "Oh, it's made of hair from children." And he laughed.
It's so...
And his
And he
teacher
laughed. Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah.
And the principal hasn't called me yet, so I think I'm okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, I haven't
No, that's a
scarred the
funny
child
one.
for life.
That was quick.
Yeah. Yeah,
was
thank
quick.
you.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun. But anyway, tomorrow, again, if you missed it this year, get your tickets early next year. It's a fundraiser for Kiwanis, Rio del Sol Kiwanis, and all the projects that they do in the community for kids. And so, I'll be standing in the cemetery, dining with the dead. It is me and about 17 other reenactors telling stories of Farmington's past and Aztec and Bloomfield. It's kind of the whole region. So there you go.
There you go.
But we digress. We should talk about the solution.
We should.
From the street.
I just had to.
I appreciate
I couldn't
that.
help
Well,
it.
thank you for letting me plug the thing. But yeah, but here we are with Solutions from the Street, the program where we talk about a problem and then the local solution
Correct.
to the problem, right?
Right.
So this week we're talking about a problem that really affects a lot of families,
A lot of people.
right? It's Alzheimer's and dementia and all those different things that we see with some of our loved ones, maybe that just kind of as they get older. I think it happens to maybe more people than we know of.
It does. Well, and it's age specific. I mean, little tidbit about dementia. There's early onset as well, so it might
Right.
not even be just older folks. And but there is a thing where if you live a certain amount of time, you're obviously a higher risk. So
Definitely.
it's dementia is all over the place, and Alzheimer's is one type of dementia.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of research, I think, being done to understand dementia and Alzheimer's, right? And what maybe causes it, how to maybe slow it down or maybe even cure it or reverse it and things along that line. And so that brings us to our guest who is here with us on the program, on our solution
Great.
from the street.
From the street.
There you go. So let me bring her into the conversation. Tori Rohrer is here. She is with the Alzheimer's Association of Northwest New Mexico. Tori, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for
And
having me.
You're welcome. And so you work obviously with the Alzheimer's Association, and as we were mentioning, were we pretty close to being correct? We hope that we were about dementia and Alzheimer's and some
Yes.
of the things that it causes for people and families.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You guys were spot on. I
Gotcha.
mean, perfect.
And so you are here because the Alzheimer's Association is having an event here later on this month, the annual Walk to End Alzheimer's, and it's happening in Aztec this year.
It is, yeah. Walk to End Alzheimer's this year. Normally it's held in Farmington at Berg Park. And this year we're trying to include, because it is the Northwest region, it just doesn't, it's not just inclusive to Farmington. We're having it in Aztec this year to broaden the community.
Right, right. And I think it's part of a plan to maybe move it around
Yeah.
the community for future walks and things like that, to
Absolutely.
just give every community a little bit of ownership in this event.
Absolutely. We're hoping we can have it in Bloomfield in the future and then just move it back around the surrounding communities.
Right. And so it's a fundraiser
It is.
for the Alzheimer's Association and to continue the work that you are doing.
Yes, absolutely. It is to raise money for research, but it also helps to fund programs that we offer, which include support groups, educational classes, as well as our respite reimbursement program that we have.
Got you. Now explain those a little bit for us too.
Yeah, so our support groups, actually we're just starting an in-person support group again. Since COVID, it's going to be our first one back, so it's going to start Tuesday, September 20th. It'll be every third Tuesday of the month.
Okay.
It's going to be at the San Juan Center for Independence, and it's for caregivers, those who are caring for their loved ones who have Alzheimer's or dementia. Educational programs that we offer are for caregivers. We have them for professional caregivers, those that work professionally with them, as well as our first responders. And it can be 10 warning signs, the Living with Alzheimer's series. We have a beginning, middle, and late stage series that we give. So it's so much information in our programs that, I mean, once people take them, they're very well off after that.
Right. Well, that's good. And I imagine they appreciate the information
Yeah.
they
Oh, yeah.
get from those support groups and
Yeah.
some of the trainings and things, again, that you were able to offer. And for a lot of these caregivers, I would imagine, too, maybe some of them are maybe spouses or brothers or sisters or parents, perhaps in some cases, but maybe folks who maybe didn't see themselves in that role, and all of a sudden they're kind of thrust into this
Exactly.
caregiver role, and so they really don't know maybe often which way to turn.
Exactly.
And so this training can help.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. And if there's something more that they need, we have contacts that we can send them in the right direction and hopefully get them to the person they need to talk to for further help. So.
Right. Very good. And I know Alzheimer's and dementia, and I sometimes use those terms interchangeably, and I probably shouldn't because they're different, right?
They are different.
Dementia is the overall encompassing term.
Yeah. So my way of explaining Alzheimer's and dementia, dementia is the umbrella term, just like when someone says that they have cancer, our first question is always, what kind of cancer? And it's the same thing. So when someone says they have dementia, what type of dementia do they have? And Alzheimer's is the most common cause of dementia. So people tend to get Alzheimer's and dementia mixed up a little bit, but that's my easiest way of being
Good.
able to
Yeah.
explain it. Yeah.
And they are different,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
right? The terms are different. And
Absolutely.
got it.
And they manifest themselves differently. Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to go back to the warning signs. Do you know the 10 warning signs? Can you share that for our listeners?
Yeah. A few of the 10 warning signs are changes in memory that then disrupt your daily life. So say you misplaced your keys, and normally we all misplace our keys, and we walk into the room, or we don't, why did we walk into this room? What are we looking for? But that warning sign would be if you misplaced your keys and put them in your freezer. That's not usually normal sign of aging. We don't normally put our keys in the freezer. So that is one warning sign. Another warning sign is if it starts to, I'm sorry, I don't know like the exact wording for the warning sign, but if it starts to interfere with your health or your safety, if you're starting to take medications that aren't supposed to, misplace things, driving, getting lost, that kind of stuff.
We hear stories sometimes of people that maybe are suffering some of the early onset symptoms, maybe, and they go in the car and they're going for a trip, maybe to the store, and then they end up going the wrong direction to get home, and then find out that they're 20 miles away and call somebody, and that is what you're kind of talking about, right?
Absolutely.
These are those types of issues. So, very good. And so with the walk, as we mentioned, people can sign up now to be in the walk, and so how does that work?
Yeah, so if someone wants to sign up for the walk, our walk website link is act.alz.org/walk San Juan County. And it takes them directly to our walk page, and they can register right there. Our walk flyer, official walk flyer, has a QR code on it that they can scan, and it'll take them straight to registration.
It's on the screen right now. For our video viewers, they can point their phone maybe at the screen. I think it would work.
I believe so. I don't see why it wouldn't.
Try it.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
Yeah, and then they can register that way. They can register at the event that morning. Registration starts at 9 a.m. And if not, they can just call me and I can register them for them.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
I see the Basin logo on there making call up. How about that?
Hey, we're omnipresent.
There you go.
We are a healthcare company.
Of course.
I work for the hospice side.
Right.
At the end of the year, there's always a pie chart that depicts the different types of diseases we've served.
Sure.
And sort of the magnitude of each one. And neurological disorders, the primary one being dementia, is always the biggest piece of the pie.
Right.
So we have a personal connection to it.
Of course, right.
Yeah.
And I know, Tori, that flowers are a big, important part of this walk.
Yes, correct. We have 4 flowers that represent 4 different things. We have a blue flower. I guess I should say we have 5 flowers, I'm sorry. So we have a blue flower that represents if you are living with Alzheimer's. Purple if you are supporting the cause, if you're just there to support and care for the cause in itself. Orange is if you're a caregiver for someone. And then white is our hopeful flower that is going to hopefully symbolize one day a cure for the disease.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. And so, again, the date is the 24th of September at Minium Park in Aztec, which for folks who maybe aren't aware of Minium Park, Megan called.
I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess I got to go.
Literally just off of Main Avenue. As someone told me last week on the program, it's behind Safeway. It's the park behind Safeway. It's across the street from the Pioneer Village in Aztec. It's near City Hall. I mean, it's kind of right in that. You can't miss it, really, if you get to Aztec. So,
I have a question.
Of course you do. Okay.
So, is this a national organization with a local chapter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Gotcha. And you do a lot of work throughout the northwest part of the state, don't you? Because I know you spend time in Gallup and here.
I do. So, my Northwest Regional Manager, my Northwest region consists of McKinley County, San Juan County, Cibola County, and Rio Arriba County.
So Cibola County is the Grants area, and then Rio Arriba is like Rio Rancho.
Actually, Espanola.
Espanola.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's close.
No, you're close. Yeah.
Close enough.
Close enough, but that's true. But that's a lot of territory, I guess, for one person, because you don't have a big office, do you?
Right,
I mean,
no.
Are you your staff? Are you it?
This is it. You're looking at it.
Staff of what? So you're your own boss.
Yeah, sometimes.
Right. Very good. Well, and there's another part of the event coming up, too, that I wanted to ask you about, and that is a quilt, right, that has been put together. And we want to show a picture of that on the screen as well. This is another quilt kind of to end Alzheimer's, and so it's being made available as a raffle drawing, right?
Yeah, as a drawing. It's made, the quilt was made up from previous walk T-shirts, the official walk T-shirts for those years, and then we're going to raffle it at the walk or give it away at the walk. And if someone's interested, they can buy tickets. Tickets are $5 each or 6 for 50. No, 6 for 20. Gosh, that's
Okay.
awful. $5 each or 6 for 20.
Got you. But if you want to pay
50, I mean,
you give them 6 tickets, probably more. Yeah.
I'd give them a lot more.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. It looks really, really nice. And this was made
Yeah.
by a local supporter?
You know what? It was actually donated. One of our
Nice.
committee members, Vanjie Neal, she found someone who was willing to do the work and donate it, and I gave her the shirts, and they
The rest is
handled it.
history.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and it came out beautiful.
Well, there it is. Again, if you're not watching the video, you're missing the photo, but I know it's on, there's a Facebook page for
Yes.
the walk. Mm-hmm. And so folks can get more information there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Our Facebook page is Northwest Regional Walk in San Juan County.
There it is. Got it.
It's a whole lot, but
And so you can register yourself, or can you register a team
Yeah.
to walk? I mean,
Yep.
does it matter?
no, it does not matter. You can be an individual walker. You can be create a team, and your team can consist of one person or 100 people. There's really no limit on what you want what you want to do.
Very, very good. I want to ask you a bit more about the work to try to help those with Alzheimer's, with dementia, and you work with other organizations too. I think I mentioned earlier. I know you've done some projects with the Hummingbird Cafe, which is a local entity that's been on the show, I believe. We've
They
talked
have
to
been.
We've talked to them a little bit about their work here as well, and so that's an important, I think, outlet for both caregivers and people who have Alzheimer's disease. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I teamed up with Nicolette at the Hummingbird Memory Cafe, and we held a little community forum where we invited people from the community to come out and discuss our first community forum was to discuss the gaps that we have in the community for those living with dementia and Alzheimer's. And then our second community forum was to discuss solutions or possible solutions and maybe what we can do to work on getting those solutions in the community.
Like this show.
Yeah.
See?
Right.
More solutions.
Solutions.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Like, exactly. Very true. Well, very good. And so, and are there going to be more of these in the future, do you think?
We're hoping to work together more and continue to have them. Nicolette's actually going to have an informational booth at our walk to provide information on what she does and all of that stuff. I know she does creativity kits, and so she's an awesome person to reach out to also for dementia and Alzheimer's, and we're hoping to kind of team together and kind of break the stigma regarding Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah, and talk to me a bit more about that, because there seems to be a stigma, and it's just, it's hard for me to kind of describe it, but I think folks are just, they miss their family member if they're going through it. They kind of see them slipping away in front of their eyes, and it's hard to maybe keep thinking about, mom is mom when mom doesn't remember who you are, or someday she does and someday she doesn't. I mean, it's just a really nasty thing to go through.
Oh yeah, I think the stigma is really based around fear, I would feel like. Just because you're so used to speaking with someone and they remember you and you have all these memories, and then one day they may not know who you are, recognize you. So sometimes people just step back and don't really interact with them anymore because it puts them in an awkward situation. They don't know how to handle it. They're not educated enough in the disease, and so they just don't really know what to do or what to say. So we're kind of trying to break the stigma of that. We're all still people, and even though some days they may not remember the story or they may not remember you, those memories are still there somewhere. Somewhere they had those memories, they lived those memories, and so just to kind of still treat them with kindness.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Very true. And of course, is that some of the things that your support groups help with as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Our support groups are designed to let the caregivers kind of, I guess you could say, vent about things that they're going through at the moment with their loved one, and get tips and tricks from other caregivers on how they handled situations when their loved one was going through that, or if they're already past that, how they handled it, and just kind of give ideas to everybody on what they can do to help caregiving be easier for them.
Right, right. Very good. And with the research that's being done, I mean, what have you heard of some of the latest things? Because I mean, this is really affecting the brain, and the brain's a pretty complicated organ. And so it seems like every day we're learning more and more about the brain and these things that affect it, but then how to fix it or change it or slow it down or what have you. That's a whole other process, I'm afraid.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have a cure for it. Hopefully one day, but I know there's medications out on the market now that help to alleviate some of the symptoms of the disease. They don't, and some hopefully slow down the symptoms of the disease, but nothing that reverses anything, or no cures or anything of that sort. So there's so many like trials going on. I mean, and my biggest thing with that is if we don't participate in clinical trials, we'll never have a cure. We always have, I mean, someone has to try it before we can know it works. So, but there's medications out there that are somewhat helpful, but they don't really do the final job.
Sure. Well, and each patient, I suppose, is probably different too, right? Of how they react to the medications and the treatments and things along that line. And, and again, for their families to agree to go into these trials and try it out and just see. And I imagine the doctors and the folks doing the research can get a lot of data from those trials to maybe move the research forward.
Absolutely.
Just the idea.
Yep.
So there you go.
Exactly.
Megan Cullip, I keep thinking I'm keeping you out of the conversation here, and I don't want to.
Well, a couple of the questions you asked, I was going to ask.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I was going to ask about research. I was going to ask you about the caregiving group.
Oh, and I just bulldozed right over that.
Yeah, you
didn't
just
I?
bulldozed me.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm learning over here.
Are you learning?
So,
You're like a little sponge.
I
soaking
am
it
a
all
little
in.
sponge soaking it all in.
Yeah, that's good.
So.
Very good. Well, in your job, if you don't mind me asking, because in your job, I imagine you run into this a lot too in your hospice work and things along that line. And family members are probably, they've gone through this dementia and Alzheimer's situation, and now maybe their loved ones near their end of life, and they're reaching out to people in your line of work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that could be difficult.
Yeah. So dementia's been called the long goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
To your point and your point, where people slowly dissipate, or at least the personality they once had, and certainly the memories, except for old memories, those are still intact. So you hear a lot of people talk about their family of origin or certain songs that were big when they were younger. You play
those deep
that.
memories maybe that they
The deep
retain,
memories, yeah. So early formative memories. And so there's certain music and stuff that you could play that sort of animates them. But I would say when it comes to caregiving, we probably do see the most caregiver burnout with this disease because it's so long. They've been dealing with it for years by the time it gets to us.
Right.
And just how hard it is to caregive for somebody who doesn't know you anymore.
Right.
So it's a very, like I said, and it's the most prevalent of the diseases that come on service with us. So it's very tough. So I'm glad that there's a caregiver group.
Yeah.
I think that's a saving grace for a lot of people.
Right. Very true. And I think too, sometimes what we see is that maybe these individuals are every other aspect they're healthy, but
Yes.
just they're losing those memories, and so their body is still pretty strong and virile and ready to go, but they're just confused, or they could be active, but yet they don't know where they're going, or once they get there, they don't know how to get home, or those types of things, and that's really hard for, I think, family to see and loved ones to deal with as well.
Yeah.
So that can be difficult, and that's what some of the support groups can help with, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you hit it spot on. My grandpa passed away from Alzheimer's in 2021, and if it wasn't for the Alzheimer's disease, I mean, he was healthy as a horse, no diabetes, no high blood pressure, just his body was in great shape. It was just his mind that was sick. It was just his brain.
And sad, and hard to see that, I would think.
Oh yeah. So you see someone so strong, so independent, and then just completely need every ounce of help that you can give.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why you do the work that you do.
That's exactly why I do the work that I do.
And the event that's coming up, again, on the 24th of September at Minium Park in Aztec, it is the Walk to End
Alzheimer's in San Juan County, and there are walks going on around the state too, isn't it, this month?
There is, yeah. Actually, this weekend I'm going to be working the walk it's a community walk in Los Lunas for Valencia County. And then this walk will be the 24th. We have a walk in Hobbs on the 17th. Gallup's walk is October 22nd. There's
Tis the
Santa
season.
Fe, Albuquerque, yeah, Las Cruces, we got them all.
That's great. Well, it's important, right, to get these communities to come together and support
Yeah.
the work that's being done in their communities. And
Absolutely.
so I'm glad that Farmington and San Juan County is on the list, and
Yes.
it's nice to have it in Aztec. I think is a little change of scenery.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we were going for, and we've gotten great support from Aztec, and everything's been wonderful.
Very good. And I want to just point out on the screen yet again, the sponsors. We're proud to be on there as well. Thank you for doing that. And of course, Basin Home Health and Basin Hospice is on there as well. But I mean, a lot of great companies that we see time and time again that support the walk in San Juan County.
Yeah, absolutely. They're wonderful. All of our sponsors are absolutely wonderful. We couldn't do it without them.
Very good. Just a few more that I'm seeing here. The Marion Oil and Gas Company, ARP New Mexico is on there. The Three Rivers Estates, The Bridge, Citizens Bank, KOBF is there as well. And so again, in CNJ, the Oilfield Group is there as well. So
And KSJE.
I said that.
Oh, okay.
I mentioned that. That's the
Just
first one.
Just making
because
sure.
I'm me. You've met me. So
Of course, it's the first one.
that's right. But I'm glad that we're able to support this event this year.
Yes.
So it's wonderful. But that's terrific. And so is there a deadline for folks to sign up, to register? Can they do it the day of?
They can do it the day of. They can do it up until the moment the walk starts. If they want to walk first and register after, they could do that too if they wanted.
Okay. Very good. Well, you mentioned there are T-shirts.
There are T-shirts. We do ask that you try and slow down here. We ask that you try and fundraise $100 for a T-shirt.
That's the kind of the recommended minimum, I guess, right?
It's not required to participate in the walk or anything like that, but it is $100 for a shirt if possible.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we noticed on the picture of the quilt, the shirts all had that kind of similar purple blue color. Is that how they are this year again too?
Yeah, those are our signature colors for the Alzheimer's Association. The design itself will be different, but the colors will be the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, Tori, I appreciate you coming in this week to talk with us about the Alzheimer's, the Walk to End Alzheimer's in San Juan County, coming up on September 24th, and the work that you do besides holding a walk throughout the San Juan County and the state, the rest of the year, all the research and the support that you provide to all the organizations in the northwest part of the state. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
You bet. You're very welcome. And again, if folks have more information, best place to reach you, the phone number, or what would you say?
Phone number is 505-278-7927. And my office is at 3300 North Butler Avenue, Suite 221.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right here in town. So
Right
perfect.
here in Farmington, yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, thank you again for coming in.
Thank you.
And we'll hope to see you at the walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Very good. Megan, thank you for being here again.
Yeah.
Just
Pleasure every time.
The highlight of your week, right?
It is
we
the
hope
highlight
one
of
of
my
them
week.
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That's good.
Yeah.
Very good. And so next week we'll be back with the other show
That's interesting.
that we do. It is interesting.
It's interesting.
We get together and do that show.
We talk about things that are interesting, and it's a call-in show.
It is a call-in show, so we need you,
To call
person
in
that's listening, and the person next to you who's listening. We need both of you
To call in.
Yes,
and talk about whatever's interesting in your world.
exactly. Tori, you can call in next week if you want.
Yeah.
So feel
Yeah.
free. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
we would love to have you. But that would be great to call in and just again, it's really an open. I don't have to say open mic, but it kind of is, right? And we really just throw open the phone lines and we've had people calling about cars and houses and
Baseball.
and yeah, so it can be anything.
It could be
whatever you
anything.
find interesting. We would like to hear about it.
Yes.
And we don't have a lot of call-in shows in Farmington, if any. So this is the one
This
And
is
so
your chance to
that's
be
why-
on the radio.
on the radio. Talk to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk to us. I know we have a lot of adoring fans out there. Would love to just talk
we
to
should
us.
hear from more. The phone
Yes.
line should be packed.
They should.
Every other Friday with our fans. And I don't know
Yes.
what's going. They sleep in, I guess.
I guess so.
Maybe that's what's going on. But
Yeah.
anyway, and tomorrow you have a show.
I have a show tomorrow.
How about that? Saturday mornings
Saturday mornings, 9 to 11 a.m. It's Mountain Standard Time.
or
Just
Mountain
had to-
Daylight Time?
Or Mountain Daylight. Gosh, I always MDT, MST. I don't even know.
I know.
But Standard is winter,
A few more
right?
weeks. Right. We'll be in Mountain Standard Time. But
Okay.
right now it's still Mountain Daylight Time.
So we're Mountain Daylight Time.
Unless you're in Arizona and they are just Mountain Standard Time all the time.
It's your responsibility to adjust your time zone
Figure it out.
as
Just figure it
necessary.
out. But she's on for 2 hours.
But
So if
I'm
you
on
miss
for
the
2
first hour,
hours.
you get the second hour.
That's right. So you get 2 hours, and it's the eclectic music mix. And so each week I bring you a different theme, and I play a lot of different types. I mean, you never guess what's going to come next on the show.
I can never guess.
No. And then you hear a lot of cool stories behind the songs and behind the artists. So it's also, there's a lot of talk involved with just the stories behind things. And this week's theme is duets. So people from other bands coming together to perform a song.
Okay.
So,
are you going to play ours?
yes.
The one that we
our
recorded?
duet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't Go Breaking My Heart?
Don't go break. Yep.
That one?
That's an hour 2.
Okay,
That
good.
kicks it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is on Mountain Never Time.
Mountain Never Time.
There you
yes.
go. Yes. All right.
Yes.
On that note, I think we should say goodbye.
Okay.
Okay. We have come to the end of yet another show, mercifully enough. So thank you, everyone, for joining us on That's Interesting with Megan Cullip and Scott Micklin. And we'll see you next Friday right here on KSJE. Have a good week, everyone. Bye-bye. KSJE and San Juan College present the Student Success Coaching Tip of the Week.
Hello, this is Emin Chi from the Student Achievement Center bringing you Week 3 Coaching Tips of the Week. Making it a routine, getting yourself into a study routine is one of the best ways to make sure studying becomes a part of your everyday habit. Figure out what time of the day works best for you and make a real effort to dedicate that time to reviewing notes, videos, and other related resources. Also, pick times during the week to try out your studying. You can try studying in the morning on one day, the afternoon on another day, and in the evening that works best for you when there are no distractions at the end of the night. Once you've decided which time works best for you, try to stick with that time of the day, every day, or at least 3 days a week, to get in the habit of studying consistently. You might wind up rearranging your routine due to extracurricular activities, times with your friends, and other commitments, but be sure to prioritize your studies and get them done in one way or another.
The Student Success Coaching Tip of the Week, presented by KSJE and the Student Achievement Center at San Juan College. KSJE is proud to support the San Juan Medical Foundation's 42nd Annual Walkathon, Saturday, September 17th. The Walkathon is the Foundation's premier annual event, the fundraising effort that supports the Connolly Hospitality House and the San Juan Medical Foundation's mission of enhancing the health and well-being of people in the Four Corners community. Register to walk, sponsor a walker, or make a donation at sanjuanmedicalfoundation.com. KSJE is supported by Aztec Motocross. Located on Highway 173, Aztec Motocross offers a safe and competitive racing environment for the growing off-road and outdoor industry. Upcoming racing weekends, September 24th and 25th, and October 22nd and 23rd. Also, the New Mexico State Championship Motocross Race Series, October 8th and 9th. Find out more online at aztecmotocross.com or 505-393-5222.
On this week's On the Media, as the legal troubles of former President Trump mount, we look at how news outlets in other countries have covered the alleged crimes of their leaders.
It's good in a democracy to occasionally kick the tires and try to figure out, okay, well, where are their weaknesses?
From Israel to Italy and back home again. On this week's On the Media from WNYC.
Join us for On the Media, Saturday mornings at 7 on KSJE Farmington. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.